for everyone. Great. Okay, so gastrocnemius, if he opens his joint, okay, posterior to the to the temporal mandibular joint is gastrocnemius. Sorry. Okay. Then the next point, which is the foot point. Okay, and if this is large intestine epsilon point, then just below it on the mastoid is that foot point. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then, if we have the mandibular angle here, I'm right on the mandibular. I'm drawing. This is the mandibular angle. Okay. This is the mandibular angle. I go 45 degree on the bone. That's the extra shoulder. You with me? Mm-hmm. And then the midway between sagittal line, mandibular angle, on the mandibula, you have that extra lumbar. Okay. So those are those points. Okay. Now ZS point. Oh, everyone wants to know ZS because that's the most important. So ZS, remember what I mentioned for you, the ZS on the in aspect is where the coronal suture meets the temporal suture and the sphenoid suture in that junction. So what you want to do to locate it, much easier. If this is lung, okay, first of all, the point is in between lung, pericard, small intestine, and stomach. Okay? It's right in the junction there. But the easiest way to locate it is to go from the lung about 0.5 centimeter down and then go back until you feel a big divot. A big divot, that hole that I told you about. And that's the ZS yin point. Okay, that's the ZS yin. Okay, ZS yang. So you could say we have to copy this to the posterior area to found ZS yang, right? So no, you don't have to do that. There's an easier way to do it. You just got to locate. If I would take the mid-forehead line and go back and take D. Okay, this is the D point, because remember Avi showed you the yang aspect. I want to locate basically the lung epsilon point yang. So if I go from D to that mid-forehead line, I'll arrive around about here. Okay, there's a big divot there as well. Okay, that's your lung point. Okay, and here is the gallbladder point. You with me? So you have a line between these 2 points. And what you want to do is divide this line into 3. 1. Okay, into 3 equal zones. So this area here, the upper posterior third, is the ZS yang. You with me? Yeah. Okay, so what you want to do, if I would be looking for it, I'll go D, look for D, go up to the first divot, because you can really feel it. Just go straight up to the first divot. Then I would locate that notch in the bone where gallbladder epsilon is. Take this line and say, okay, divide into thirds even in my mind. I know it's around about here. At the same time, I use stomach 12 to verify I'm in the point. So not necessarily it's sensitive, but I will feel that stomach 12 suddenly relaxes, releases. So I know I'm in the point. Okay, so that's a ZS. Okay. Okay. Now, okay. So now there's two, Yamamoto has 2 points for centers of speech. One is Broca and one is Wernicke. These points do not work. Wernicke is a sensory side of speech. Broca is a motor speech. Okay, so Broca, when you have damage to Broca, they can't pronounce words. Okay, they usually pronouncing nouns and sounds. And what you want to do usually in those points is combine it with the throat point, the mouth point, the cranial nerve that have effect on the larynx and the pharynx. That's the Broca. Okay, Broca. The advantages of Broca that there's the other ways you can communicate with them. Okay. Then you have, which basically, if this is stomach, we don't use the YNSA points for it because they're not useful. We use the Chinese scale. Okay, if that's stomach and that's spleen, slightly anterior to it is Broca center. You with me? Okay. Wernicke is a whole story for itself. Wernicke is the sensory side of speech. And if you think of how the nerve system responds, first it gets sensory stimuli, and then we respond to it. So when you have damage to Wernicke, it's like they can maybe pronounce words, but the words are not in contact, just like throwing words into the air. Okay, and that's one thing. Or they invent in words and they think they're saying words. But the thing is that the communication there's a block down of communication, a breakdown. They don't understand me and I don't understand them. Even if they want to pronounce something gets mixed up on the way out and they can't pronounce what they want to say. It's to a level that they can't even say that they want to eat or they're hungry at a severe level. Like in the hospital, people that have damage to Broca, usually we see them, they live with a speech disorder or problem. People that have damage to Wernicke, this area, I don't know, will probably maybe recuperate somehow a lot more. It gets better. Okay, and they get to a level that there is some understanding of them, but basically it's like to train them. I've spoken to a few physiotherapists and they said, occupational speech therapists, and they say that the brain, the speech areas of the brain is the best example of neuroplasticity, because you have little centers that assist the Broca and assist the Wernicke and assist other parts of speech. When these areas are damaged with the correct training, and they said it comes down to money, payment, not for them, but to train someone to go for somotherapy, the little centers overlap and take the Broca and Wernicke centers, and then the speech comes back. But in the end, it comes down to finances. But like I said, so and Broca and Wernicke, the Wernicke area, if this is the lung, okay, that's pericard, stomach, spleen, then it's going to be here. Okay, that's the Wernicke of Yamamoto. They're not effective, like I said, from my experience. In this case, what you want to do, you're going to use, you're going to go up to gallbladder 8, and you're going to thread this whole line. And you're going to do it bilaterally. You're going to, this 4 centimeters. It's painful here, so you're going to put in a little needle, another needle, what's called a relay needle in. One needle, one needle, one needle, one needle, or one needle, one needle. From gallbladder 8, 2 centimeters posterior and 2 centimeters anterior. That's more effective. Okay, and then you're going to add the speech, the areas that have influence on speech. And then you can see, even there, when I needle that, immediately is an effect, because a lot of the time after I needle, even with Broca and Wernicke, and I go do the physiotherapy, occupational speech therapy, then a lot of times the the speech therapist say there's more communication. Okay?
Are you,
there's no importance of direction.
Okay, no, I was just wondering, like when I've seen Chinese scalp needling, is they thread it and they do lots of manipulation, but are you doing that? Or
no, not necessarily.
So you're just putting in maybe 2 or 3 needles along that line?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what's more effective in the Broca and Wernicke of Yamamoto.
Right.
And even when I met people that visited Yamamoto later on, after I was there in the period of time, they started saying that Yamamoto's already threading between the 2 zones. So he's actually doing the Chinese without doing the Chinese.
And he's threading like this?
No, he's just doing one direction.
Yeah.
One direction. Yeah. But he threads, they say. He takes a needle, 75, and threads.
But there are certain needles that are better for threading than others.
I use thin needles because it's less painful.
Yeah. Don't use cheap ones when your hand
Basically,
just fall off.
it's so painful, so your patients start to talk again.
Okay.
Just stop, please stop the screening for me.
אני יכול להראות להם את ספירה של גוש 16? So,
הזמן, דיוויד.
okay. So, now that's the Broca and Wernicke. Now I want to show you J and K quickly. So if Avi, turn off the... So, first of all, the opposite, we'll start so yeah. Okay. So J and K,
Sorry. Okay.
this is the last zones, the last points. Even though you have more information in your handouts, you can just read up about it, but this is the main thing. It's just the extras that I put in. לא, זה בסוף. מה אתה אומר? כן, בסוף. אתה חוזר אחורה. זה בעברית, בגלל זה. Okay, so J and K is the first somatotopes that Yamamoto used to use. Okay, it's in, if you think A, B, C, H, J, K. Okay, and he divided to the yin and yang, where the Do-20 divides between the posterior, anterior body, and posterior would be the posterior body. Okay, in the end, it all falls down to that Yamamoto only used two zones here, the area of the feet. Okay, so. And they're very, very useful. So the J, because I somatotop's a lot more useful than the J and K. So mainly the area of the feet. So the area of the feet, the toes would be on the hairline. Okay, it's all the area between A, cerebrum, cerebellum, and A and B and H. So all this region here, it's big feet, just like the homunculus. The homunculus has big feet. Okay. So all this is K. So this will be the toes. If you have heel spur, you'd look for sensitivity there. If you had, let's say it's at the heel, you would look for the sensitivity there. This is the plantar foot.
Yeah.
Okay, you with me?
Mm-hmm.
And on the opposite side, on the inside, okay, that's the mid-sagittal line. לא, עשיתי רגל. אין רגל. כן. Okay, so that's the cerebrum, cerebellum, and A. I'm just combining them, okay? B and H. מחנות בניו יורק. B&H, it's the New York store of electronics. Okay. Okay, so that would be the area of the feet. Okay, toes, ankle.
So just lateral to A.
Lateral to A between B and H.
Okay.
Okay. And Soleil's point. Can put it up. Okay.
Sorry, David, did you say that the yin side is the dorsal
This
aspect of the
is
foot,
dorsal.
and this
This
is
is
the
plantar.
Okay, right.
Because it's like someone lying like this
Yeah, okay, so
and
supine.
someone lying like this.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
לא ישים רגל. קדימה.
Okay, so, and then, I know I'm a bit running, but we right at the end, that's, okay, so this would be the area which will help me close my hand. Okay, so Leo's point.
Mm-hmm.
And
Suffering. Okay, 59 and up. Lateral one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the external malleolus. Very
Okay.
simple.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so that's all the points.
Yeah.
In your handouts, you have a few more points, a few more diagnoses, but it's just extra. You have to, once everything settles in, you can just read them up and you'll understand where they are and everything.